Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, we'll be discussing the 1987 war movie, Full Metal Jacket, starring Matthew Modine, Vincent D'Onofrio, and I forgot the guy who played a crazy drill sergeant, which we'll get into in a second. Of course, this movie, usually, of course, those of you who have subscribed to my channel and those who follow and watch my videos know I don't usually do war movies, because pretty much they're all the same. Particularly World War II films. So I pretty much avoid discussing World War II movies because the whole world sat by and let Hitler kill 6 million Jews in the camps. Well, another story for another day. Well, Full Metal Jacket is a Vietnam War movie, but it's kind of like a half and half. Half was the drilling, went through boot camp with the Marine Corps unit or platoon, and the second half is with the Vietnam War, and it's literally the second half of the movie when you finally get to it. Full Metal Jacket is like I said, is a platoon unit going through basic training with this crazy drill sergeant. Now, of course, many people remember about this movie is with the first half of the film. And most people forget about the second half because the second half is not that great. Of course, the first half is, of course, with this crazy drill sergeant who uses every four-letter word in the English language. I'm not kidding, folks. So if there's any kids out there, ever watch this video, I'm putting a warning out there because this guy curses everybody out like crazy, uses every four-letter word, and it's the language that was coming out of this guy, it was unbelievable. True, I've seen movies like Of an Officer and a Gentleman. I've seen Forrest Gump. That was the drill sergeant stuff in Forrest Gump was tame compared to what was in this movie. I mean, this guy was way over the top. I think there was like videos here on YouTube about the biggest insults, about all the insults that this guy was coming out of his mouth, and it's it's unbelievable. I can't believe that YouTube still has that. I think YouTube still has those videos up with this guy cursing and insulting everybody. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean that's what everybody remembers from Full Metal Jacket is the first half of the film with this guy insulting everybody, and one particular guy. Called like Cowboy. I think it was the Matthew Modine character called Cowboy, and he gives nicknames to everybody. He calls the Vincent D'Onofrio character. I didn't even know he was even in this movie. I mean, it goes to show you how much I watch war movies. I didn't know the Vincent D'Onofrio, who years later was starred in Law and Order: Criminal Intent and the Jurassic World movie, the first one. So. He had a pretty long career, over 30 years, this guy. I mean, can't believe that. You can't believe that at all. Anyway, the drill sergeant calls Vincent D'Onofrio's character Gomer Park, because I think he's an idiot little heck, he was like, overweight. And he makes fun of him being overweight and stuff. And he had Vincent D'Onofrio character, or the Gomer Park, how I had trouble with all the obstacle courses, climbing over the fences, doing all these obstacles, going through the mud, climbing over the fence, through barbed wire, and all the other stuff. And the drill sergeant was constantly just getting in his face, cussing him out, demeaning him, getting him, trying to get him mad enough for him to do this stuff. And another Matthew Modine character eventually becomes the squad leader, so it was kind of like his job to maybe smooth the rough edges and trying to help him out. But the drill sergeant kept pushing the Vincent D'Onofrio character, or Gomer Park, kept pushing him, until, of course, the point where the guy just loses it. On the last night that they were on the island, before they graduated, from the basic training, breaks in gets his gun, loads it with live ammunition, full tilt, and that's why they call it the movie Full Metal Jacket, because of the ammunition used in the rifles. And what he did was, Matthew Modine tried to talk him out, because Matthew Modine thought at the time that the Roman Powell character was going to kill himself right then and there, because of all the pressure that was under, and he barely graduated. The Roman Powell character, or the Vincent D'Onofrio character, he barely graduated. So he thought that he was going to commit suicide because of all the crap that the drill sergeant gave to him all those months, how many months they were in basic training, who knows. But all the pressure that this guy put on him. But what he did was, the drill sergeant he got woken up what was happening, and Vincent D'Onofrio does cold cocks, shoots him and kills him. And then of course, big shock, Vincent D'Onofrio turns the rifle on himself and kills himself right then and there. And to me, that was like the highlight of the whole movie. I mean, the rest of the movie went downhill after that. As a matter of fact, the Matthew Modine character eventually becomes works for a military newspaper, kind of like maybe a positive newspaper there for the military. And he's following this one particular platoon, and all of his friends, he finds out, eventually gets killed in the Vietnam War, and he's about the only one who was left standing. I think the other guy's name was Cowboy. Mix up the characters' names. Gets killed. He joins up with the Cowboys platoon. He gets killed. Another friend gets killed. And Dorian Haywood, of course, was the original actor that played Jesse Owens in a TV movie, and he was on several episodes of Seventh Heaven, back in the 90s, early 2000s. And of course, he was also in one of my favorite Matlock episodes, The Ambassador, which was a 2-part episode. Anyway, he was in this episode. He gets killed off. Another friend of Matthew Modine was in the same squad in basic training. He gets killed off, and several friends of his. Like I said, I think Matthew Modine was the only one who really lived by the end of the movie. And that's it. You didn't see how he survived the rest of the Vietnam War. You didn't have that, because if they did that, the movie would have been like an hour longer. It's already over a 2-hour movie as it is, and it would have been over a 3-hour movie. But when I hear that people say that Full Metal Jacket is one of the greatest war pictures of all time, I'm like, I have to roll my eyes over this stuff, because war movies as a whole are boring. Not knowing that, but I think they're boring. Same formula all the time, and you don't know how. And I know that Full Metal Jacket is a fictional story, but war movies are actually based on a historical moment, like movies like Glory, and even pick on Civil War movies, even like Glory, or even Gettysburg movie was great, by the way. It's great. If you want to see a great Civil War movie, watch Gettysburg. Because at least it shows both sides of the argument in that movie. But for movies like based on a story, like The Longest Day, or Platoon, or any of these other movies, how accurate are these movies? And tell me the ones that actually have real life, a Patton, the movie Patton. How accurate are those movies? Did Patton really say the stuff he said in that movie? Or General MacArthur, or John Wayne playing one of these characters in the war movie? Who knows how did these guys actually said that at the time they said it? Or did this actually happen? That actually happened. That's the problem. But Full Metal Jacket, to say this movie is the greatest movie of all time, or one of the greatest war pictures of all time, personally, I don't see it. Because like I said earlier in this review, I'm not really into war. I'm about the only heterosexual man in the United States who's not into war pictures that much, because to me, like I said, they're all the same. I mean, true, they vary the details, or they pick one particular battle and stuff like that in movies, but to me, they're all the same. I mean, it doesn't matter which one it is. It's all from formulaic. And that at that point, Full Metal Jacket, they're all the same movie. They're pretty much all the same. Different wars, maybe, but basically the same movie. That's probably what 1917 dealing with, because the liberal Hollywood was not going to vote for a war movie for Best Picture. I'm sorry, they're not. They're not. I mean, the last war movie that actually, war picture that won for the Oscar for Best Picture was Platoon, and it was back 3-4 years ago. So when that movie came out, so they're not going to do it again, especially since the politics are so extremely liberal. They're not going to vote for another war movie again. And they're not going to. It's a miracle they did it for the Hood. Well, I remember wrong. I think the Hood Locker one a few years ago, but in 2008, 2009, that movie won. But I mean, war movies are pretty much the same. I mean, it doesn't change, doesn't matter, the circumstances, doesn't matter who the actors are, they're all the same thing. But Full Metal Jacket, I mean, I watched this movie after when the drill sergeant gets killed, like I said earlier, that's when the end of the movie was for me. Because to me, that was the highlight of the movie. And that's about halfway through the film. You can still have half the movie to go through for me to watch. And I'm like, okay, it didn't expect the drill sergeant to get killed, but you know, to have that end, it's kind of like with Janet Leigh in Psycho. She gets killed off by halfway through the movie, and the rest of the movie, they do talk about it, but the rest of Full Metal Jacket never talked about what happened with the drill sergeant. And Vincent D'Onofrio's character, that was like a murder-suicide thing. It would be more interesting to go through the rest of the movie. Even though Vincent D'Onofrio's character kills himself, it would be more interesting to spend the rest of that movie kind of make it more like A Few Good Men, trying to determine if Vincent D'Onofrio was justified in killing the sergeant before he killed himself. That would have been an interesting little plot twist to see if they go that way, but they didn't do it. They spent the rest of the movie in Vietnam, following Matthew Modine's character and pretty much following his character in Vietnam, and the hell with everything. The hell with everybody else was in that platoon. They're doing basic training. You really, except for one character that I mentioned that was killed off in the battle at the end of the movie. But other than that, you really didn't know what happened to everybody else in that platoon, really. And that's what kind of sucks about Full Metal Jacket. You didn't know what happened to most of everybody else from that platoon there. You really didn't know. And that's really was one of the most disappointing things about this movie for me. So that's my review of the film Full Metal Jacket. Please click on the video, please rate it, please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews and all on my YouTube channel at rallyc.com, that's over WDY.com, that's the homepage of the Rally Reviewer, Chris D. Moore, and please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.